Alright, welcome back. It's MC1 Gamer bringing you an update. I had started this particular one yesterday. This is a Daemon Dais, or a Daemon Dais. And this is complete. This took about 12 hours, but I did this at about, just like I did the Arch, the Dragon Arch, which is over here. I did that about 50% bigger than the normal one. I did this one about 30% bigger. Now everything looks very shiny because I have lights shined on it just so you could see it, because it's black PLA, and it's, you know, if I turn the light off, it's you're not going to be able to see much of anything. So I want to be able to give you some detail, but it does shine like this when it catches the light. But let's remember that you're gonna you're gonna prime this and paint it, and I'm wondering how I'm gonna do it. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna actually do this demonic figure in the middle as a part of the actual stone carving of this marble or whatever, or if I'm going to make this kind of like a wispy, ghostly image, that is popping out of maybe the dais itself, as maybe just from a ritual or whatever. I don't know. I think I might do the former rather than the latter. But this one came out pretty good. It had some warping in the back here, I think because I had the bed maybe either it was not leveled properly or it was heated a little too much. Either way, I think it came out good. For perspective, I'm going to go ahead and get this is a Bretonnian archer. Just have him lying around so you can see, well, it may be a little hard to see just because he's gray and this thing's black, but this is the perspective, so you could see just what kind of scale we're talking about. I mean, it looked like the original one would have been just a little bit too small. It's supposed to be 28 mil, all these different files. But I've been upscaling a bunch of them, just because I want to get a little bigger terrain pieces on the table, but also because they seem like they're just a little small. I think they're good for scenery backdrop, maybe for like D&D and such, but not as much for wargaming purposes. So I want a little bigger surface area, so there's things that can actually sit on and around the dais. They're not going to actually sit on these tables, but that's typically, I mean, these stairs, but typically you just put a die there. That'll balance anything out. But I'm going to have a little terrain here to combat the little warping on the side, in the rear rather. I'm going to just build up some rubble, because this is a ruined tower, and this doesn't have the roof on it, by the way. The roof is being printed now, and that got started about a half an hour ago, so it's just about finished the first layers, the base structure of the build. And what's going to happen here is that's going to sit on top of this, and this is very flat. So this kind of, even though the bottom kind of warped a little bit, the print really, it's got a good platform. I don't know if I'm going to magnetize it or I'm going to try and find a way to permanently connect it. I might do the permanent one just because I want it to be nice and sturdy, and I don't want it to move around in the middle of the game. But also because even on sideways store, and these things, geez, this is solid. I used a little too much infill on this. This is why it took so long. Infill is the amount of kind of lattice work that you can see here. That the more complex and more concentrated that is, the higher percentage, I guess, infill that you're putting in when you're doing these. And the reason why is because of these columns. I wanted to make them sturdy. But as a result, this is not solid plastic, but it might as well be. I mean, there's just so much PLA went into it. So yeah, I mean, I know I'm giving a lot of explanation, getting a lot of little feedback from some of my friends at Warhammer Weekly about how verbose I am, but I want to give some details, and people ask a lot of questions, so I'm trying to try to answer the ones that I know people ask and the ones that I ask. So there you go. So this is going to be more of a kind of a dome that's going to come up. It comes to somewhat of a point, but you can see that this is a ruin, so part of it is actually collapsed across this area here, so it's accessible to put to reach minis in very much more easily. Plus, even though you'll have a dome here, you can actually reach in, and grab a mini here. This is great for role-playing games, of course, things like Frostgrave, which is skirmish type games. But it will work really well in just because I sized it up, almost a third. It'll work really well in a Warhammer type game where for a larger scale. It'll command a nice area on the battlefield. This is going to be about I guess maybe a good 12 or 14 inches high, maybe more. I think it's going to be about 14 to 16 actually, just because the dome kind of goes up to maybe about here, you know. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good size in terms of just how big it is, and obviously the base will be just a little bit more of a lip outside, and I'm going to have more debris and some rubble and whatnot. I'm going to actually print a section of the dome just a little bit so I can get some chunks and pieces to look like the pieces that fell off, and line it up all around the sides here. And then we'll see where we go from there. Obviously, I need to paint these. I'm thinking, I have gray PLA, I have black PLA. I'm looking to get brown for some wood stuff. Like there's a gigantic frigate. I mean, a gigantic frigate. It'll probably take me all week printing it, just because there's so many pieces. It literally is almost. It's probably like 24 inches long. It's just a huge frigate. It can be scaled certainly as well, but it should be good for like things like Blood and Plunder. Can't wait to give that a try. But this is. I'm going to go get some other colors and maybe additional PLA. I have 4 rolls, about half, maybe about, I don't know, about 40% down on the one roll that I started with. But being that it's black, it helps in some respects, but I think it's going to need, if I'm going to do just stonework, it's going to need some, priming certainly, but then some grays and various different other colors, and then of course getting in all these details. I'm not going to go too crazy. I might do a little bit glowy effect here just to show that there's some kind of demonic power. And of course flocking and some rocks and the such. But I want to get this. It's a piece of terrain. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece, but it should look decent and look nice on the table. So here you go. The second. And on the way to being completed, hopefully somewhat soon. The actual top. I'll show a video that'll give the finality of this one, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do next. I want to try a couple of different pieces, but I'm also looking for pieces that I can put on the table right away. Do some work, get it nice and well printed up, put some nice basing and flocking and rock stuff around, so that it actually looks like it belongs on the battlefield, and it's not just a big black piece of plastic that you stick on the battlefield. And then you'll see it in some of the future battle reports. I hope you guys enjoy it and have a great day.